Right. Good morning, everyone. All the online students. Is that the screen is visible? All the online students. Could you please everyone respond in the chat window? I request all the online students need to respond in the chat window. I request all the online students need to respond in the chat window. Okay. Perfect, guys. Let's get started then. Right. So the one we have been discussing about these particular programming concepts here as part of these particular programming concepts, right? So which we have been discussing about this particular perspective of programming concepts here as part of this particular programming which we have been started in taking with this particular typescripting. As part of this particular perspective of TypeScript, first we have been started in taking with in discussing about this particular basic program. So first we have been started in discussing about this particular perspective of basic program, that is what in just printing with the statement. In just printing with the statement we have been done. All the online students, just 1 minute, guys. All the online students, just 1 minute. Right. Let's see. So the one we got in printing with the statement. After that, we have been discussing about these particular variable keywords here. As part of this particular type scripting, we got understand that particular printing with the statement. Then you will be mentioning the variable keywords. And after that, the very most important concepts and then taking with very basic concept. The very most important concept and then very basic concept and then the very common concepts. That is what we got understood class and then taking with method and then taking with object. If I just go with this particular one, I will be taking with the class and then taking with method and then taking with object. These three are very most important concept and very basic concept and mandatory concepts. as simple as if I just go with these particular three things here, if I just go with these particular three concepts here, if I got any comfortable with these three, very easily we can take with the help of. If we got any these three particular concepts, very easily we can go with in getting comfortable of any of other concepts here. So let's see that how exactly we can go with these particular steps here. Okay, let's look into that. Now, the one will be taking with the class. First, write with the new heading, mention that class and make a note of some definitions here, and then we'll be taking with the examples here. Right. First thing, right, mention that a class is group of or combination of data variables, data variables and data methods. So if I just go with this particular class, it will mention that a class is group of or combination of data variables and data methods. Okay. Then you will be taking with this particular method. If I just go with this particular aspect of method, I can mention group of statements, group of statements. Under that, I can mention two types. Under the two types, I can mention first one is it will be taking with predefined methods. Then it will be taking with user defined methods. If I go with this particular predefined, mentioning that predefined, saying that defined by the language, right? Defined by the language. And then I will be taking with user defined, which I will be taking with user defined. Mention that defined by the user. Right. Next, I will be taking with object. I will be taking with this particular object, mention that an instance of class, an instance of class. Okay. Just make a note of these things here. We'll understand in more detail what is the connectivity and how we need to get work with these three things and how we can work with these particular three common concepts here. First, make a note of these particular small descriptions. Oh, perfect. So let's go with in more detail what exactly mean by these particular things here. So the first understanding if I'm taking with this particular class, we need to be mentioned that a class is group of or combination of data variables and data methods. What is mean by variables? What is mean by methods? You will understand in the coming sessions. What is mean by variables and what is mean by methods? You will understand in the coming sessions here. For now, just you can understand it as part of that particular aspect of definition. Now let's go with in creating how exactly it will be taking with it will be having this particular respective programming. First, we need to begin create a class. Let's see that how exactly we can create a class. First, we will be taking with in creating this particular respective project, nothing but main folder. Under that, it will be taking with this particular respective of subfolder. We created the subfolder of TypeScript example, then it will be taking with new file, providing with the file name. File name can be anything. I will be mentioning the example underscore class. File name can be anything. We can provide any of that particular file name that we will be taking with example underscore class. Okay. Now we can see that I will be taking with that particular extension. I will be providing dot which need to be get provide that particular extension. It will be taking with that particular dot ts. So we need to be get provide that particular extension that it will be taking with dot ts. It will be having that particular file here. Just 1 minute, guys, just 1 minute. Right. See here. So if I just go with this particular one, the example we need to be mentioned that first as part of TypeScript also in creating with the class, we need to be get using with the keyword that we will be mentioning that class only. So whenever you want to be get create in a class, you need to be get provide that particular keyword you will be taking with the class. And you need to provide that particular class name. We can provide that particular class name here. Just I will be providing with the class name is hello. And then we can open with the class and then we can close that particular class. So as part of this particular TypeScript, if you want to begin create in a class, it will be taking with using with the keyword mentioning that it will be taking with the class and then mention that particular class name here. Okay. So once we got provide that particular respective of class inside of that particular class, inside of that particular respective class, we need to provide. Okay. So inside of that particular respective class, we can provide these particular variables and then we can provide methods. What is mean by variables? You will understand it. For now, I'm taking with the methods. That particular methods we got in two types here. Okay. Right. So here, if I just go with this particular one, which I will be considering that methods we mentioned that I will be taking with two types here. We got two types of methods. One I will be considering that predefined method and one I will be taking with that particular user defined methods here. Okay. If I just go with predefined methods, the best example for predefined methods. The best example for predefined methods, we are already using one particular statement that we will be taking with console.log. So we are using with the statement that we will be taking with console.log. So this console.log you can mention that it will be taking with this particular. This console.log, you can mention that this log is considered as a one particular predefined method. So this particular log we can consider as a one particular predefined method. In the same way, you will be taking with this particular user defined method. If I just go with this particular perspective of user defined method, we can say that defined by the user. That means as part of our requirement, we can go with in utilizing or defining that particular perspective of. As part of our requirement, we can come up with in taking with this particular perspective of our own methods. So how exactly we can write these particular own methods? So how exactly we can just write with that particular perspective of our own methods is see that. First, you need to be get provide method name. Method name can be anything. We can get provide any of that particular method name. We can get provide any of that particular respective of method name here. Now, as an example for easy understanding, I'm just providing that particular respective method name as a M1. In general, while working with the programming, so while working that particular perspective of programming, so while working that particular perspective of programming, always the method followed by, always that particular method followed by these particular respective of brackets here. Method name followed by that particular respective of brackets here. Okay. Then it will be taking with this particular respective of method name followed by these particular brackets, and then we need to provide with the colon and taking with void. So what is mean by void? You will understand it. For today, you can understand that it will be taking with this particular M1 method. If I just go with this particular respective of method name, and then inside of that particular method, we are printing with the statement. First, I will be taking with console.log mentioning that M1 executed. Okay. In the same way, I will be writing one more method. In the same way, I will be writing with one more method. This I will be mentioning that M2, right? And then M2 executed. This I will be taking M3, M3 executed. Now come to the actual conclusion. We created one particular class, provided class name. We created one particular class and we provided one particular class name. And inside of the class, we created with methods. Inside of the method, we are printing with the statement. M1 executed, M2 executed, M3 executed. Now, we need to go with in executing this particular program. So we need to go with in executing this particular program. Let's see how we can execute it. Previously, we got an understanding of first compiling with the program, after that executing with the program. Previously, we understand that first compiling with the program and then we got execute with the program. We can continue with the same. That is one particular option. Another option is directly we can execute with the program. Directly we can execute with the program. Both the options are available. Don't be confused at all, guys. We are saying that previously, first we compile the program and then we execute the program. Because of that, whenever we are compiling with the program, whenever we are compiling with the program, first we got created.js file and then executed with the program. Okay. In the same way, we need to go with, it will be taking with the second option is directly we can execute that particular program. For that, you have to continue installation. So what exactly that particular installation you have to do? What exactly that particular installation you have to do? That is, you will be taking with npm install hyphen g saying that tsx. All the online students also, please make a note of this particular statement, this fourth line. All the online students also, please make a note of this particular fourth line. Right. See the command? The command is very straightforward. npm install -g tsx. That means previously you provided tsc, right? So now you will be taking with the command which you will be mentioning that tsx. So I have been already installed it. Directly I'm using that. First I will be taking with this particular right click, open in integrated terminal. Okay. Now see the command. I'm using with the command tsx TypeScript executor. So this time there is no concept of that particular. Okay. This time there is no concept of JS file. It will not be generating any of that particular JS file. Okay. So if I go with this particular step, you need to be mentioned the TSX TypeScript executor providing file name example underscore. It will be taking with the class dot ts. And I can see here if I'm executing, what is the result we can expect? All the online students. If I'm executing, what is the first statement it has to print it? According to your understanding, if I'm executing this particular program, what is the first statement it has to print it? M1, okay. Right. Let's see here. Let me execute with the program. Let's see the execution. Right. If I click on enter, now it will not convert into JS because directly we are executing it. When you're compiling, it will convert into the JS. Now we are not compiling, directly we are executing the program, but it is not giving any result. So there is no output at all. Let me try once again. I'll execute one more time. Let's cross check that. No, there is no result. Executed second time also, there is no result. So why it is not printing any result? What is the issue here? Even in the program, there is no error also. In the program, it is not giving any error. But if I'm executing the program, it is not printing that particular result here. Void is available. We got a method name is void. Okay. So this is what exactly we need to understand, that particular perspective of connectivity of these three concepts here. So this is what exactly we need to be get understand, that particular connectivity of these three particular things here. So let's see that what exactly this connectivity. Definition wise, okay. First, we got in a definition wise. This is perfectly okay. But let's understand in a very easy way, in a very simple way of these three particular things here. All the online students, now you guys need to be more active, guys. From today, you need to be get more comfortable with the programming. With the today's session, you need to be get more comfortable with the programming. Let's understand here. See the concept. First, we got created with the class. We got created with class. If I'm just taking with the help of the class, if I'm just taking with the help of the class, in simple, see here, we can say that the meaning of class in simple, we can consider to write a program. Definition is perfectly okay. That group of combination of data, variables and data methods. Definition is perfectly okay. But if we come with our common understanding, the purpose of the class and use of the class, we can say that to write a program. That means whenever you want to get go with, okay, so whenever we got that particular one, which it will be taking with, it will be having these particular steps, right? So whenever we got these particular perspective of which it will be mentioning that our common understanding, write a program. So this is what it will be mentioning that it will be taking with this particular first understanding. In the same way, it will be taking with this particular method. We got a concept of method. So these particular method, it will be mentioning that use of the method, purpose of the method to perform action. To perform action. So which I will be taking with, we can say that to get perform an action. That means use of the method, purpose of the method, we can mention that to perform action. Okay. Now, see the concept, guys. All the online students also, please be very clear. The concept is very simple. Whenever you are doing the programming, if you want to write in a program, take the class. If you want to perform action, take the method. Now, the default problem. So while working this particular class and then taking with method, it will be taking with default problem. So the default problem is as simple. See the concept here. The default problem is not able, okay, not able to access the methods. Or still to make easy understanding, we can mention by default. Right. So by default, not able to access methods. Okay. Let's see the clear picture. If we look into our program, in our program, we created the class, we created the method, but we are not able to access the method. We are not able to access that particular methods here. So this is what the default problem we are having while working programming. See the concept. I written the class, I written the methods, I'm executing the program. But even though I'm executing the program, we are not able to access that particular respective method. So this is what it will be taking with this particular problem here. Okay, done. So that is the reason to get overcome this particular problem, it will be taking with the help of object. To get overcome this particular problem, it will be taking with the object. Mention that to access methods. To access methods. So which it will be taking with, if I'm just considering this particular object has been used to access methods. Now, with the help of object, whatever the methods available in class, whatever the methods available in class, you are able to access that particular methods here. So whatever that particular methods are available, that particular methods you are able to get access in that particular respective class. Okay. This is what I will be taking with the connectivity of class and then method and object. This is okay. But you may get in a doubt, sir, all these things okay. But our target, we need to become a more expertise in programming. If you want to become an expertise in programming, from today, all you guys can start it applying my formula. So if you want to become an expertise in programming, to become a programming expertise, right? So if you want to become an expertise in programming, you need to follow my formula of two steps. Only two steps, guys. With the help of these particular two steps, very easily you can become an expertise. So what exactly that particular two steps? That particular two steps is in simple. First step. First step is whenever you're taking the practice, like you will be writing the program, you'll take the practice. But while taking with the practice, don't take with the practice blindly, just seeing the program, typing it, executing it, gotten a result. It's not like that. Whenever you are typing the program, whenever you are typing with the program, try to understand that. Okay, so try to understand that what will be the use and what will be purpose of that particular concept. So what exactly use of the concept and what exactly the purpose of the concept. For example, you're creating the class. First, try to understand what is the use of that class, what is the purpose of that class, or your working method, what exactly use of that particular method or purpose of that particular method. So that is what it will be taking with in mentioning that it will be having use of the concept and purpose of the concept. Once you are clear what exactly use of the concept, then you need to clear about it will be taking with syntax of the concept. So these are the simple two steps you need to follow. If you guys has been following these two particular steps, 100%, not like 99, 100% it will become an expertise. Okay. So 100% it will become an expertise in this programming. So going forward from today onwards. So going forward from today onwards, whenever you are doing with the programming, try to follow these particular two steps here. Because if you follow these particular two steps, 100% it will become an expertise as part of programming. See the first understanding, the purpose of class to write a program, the purpose of method to perform action, purpose of object to access methods. Now let's go with syntax. The syntax is while working with the class, you will be using with the keyword of class, and then you will mention that class name. You will open the class, you will close with the class. Inside of the class, you need to be get provide that particular statements. So whenever you're working with this particular one, so whenever we are taking with this particular one, first we will be taking with this particular respective class, considering that it will be taking with the class name, and then it will be taking with method. If I'm just taking with this particular method, the syntax is first we will be mentioning that method name. Always method name followed by bracket. Always method name followed by bracket. Okay. Then you will be taking with colon it will be taking with the void and it will close that particular method and it will provide that particular statements, which will provide that particular statements here. So that is what it will be taking with this particular perspective of syntax in writing with the method. First, I need to provide method name. First, I need to provide that particular method name and then colon. Then it will be taking with the void, open the method and close the method. So inside of that particular method, we can write any of these particular statements here. Okay, done. So for now, you can understand. First, we got a method name, and then it will be taking with void. If I'm taking with the void, you can understand like return type. If I'm taking with the void, void is nothing but you can understand like return type. For today, you can understand with the return type in detail. You will understand in that particular coming session. Then you will be taking with object. If I'm taking with that particular perspective of object, so that particular object it will be taking with the syntax is first it will be mentioning that variable keyword. That is what we already discussed about variable keywords. That is constant keyword and then this particular let keyword, var keyword, which we can say that variable keyword. Then you will be mentioning that object name. Object name equal to, it will be taking with the new mentioning the class name. So variable keyword and then that particular object name equal to new class name. So this is what exactly the syntax we need to be followed. This is what the syntax need to be get followed in working this particular perspective of object creation. So that means as part of this particular perspective of programming, whenever you want to become an expertise this programming, first you have to very clear about it will be taking with what is the use of that concept or purpose of that concept. Then you will be taking with that particular syntax of that particular concept. So let's see here how exactly we can go with these particular steps here. Okay, right. Now we got in a syntax in creating the object. Let me create it. See here. While working Java programming, while working Java concepts, you will be creating with the object inside of the class. But while working with the TypeScript, you are creating with the object outside of the class. So what is the syntax we have to follow? First, it will be mentioning that variable keyword and then it will be taking with object name equal to, it will be taking with that particular new class name. So this is what you need to be mentioned that it will be taking with this particular respective syntax. So according to the syntax, first I need to provide variable keyword. Either it will go with the let or it will be taking with the constant. Then we need to provide object name that I'm taking with the M. Object name can be anything. Object name can be anything. Now see the program. According to this program, according to the syntax, in this program, what is the meaning of the M? Online students, as part of this particular program, what is the meaning of the M? Right. M is a object name. If I go with that particular M is a object name. So the object name we got an a M. With the help of object name, we need to access that particular methods. With the help of object name, we need to access that particular methods. Let's see here how exactly we can access that particular respective methods here. Let's look into that. Let's understand. So first I'm taking with the M dot. Now we can see we got an access for M1 method, M2 method, M3 method. This is what exactly the concept of programming. So while working with the programming, by default, we are not able to access a method. By default, we are not able to access with the method. With the help of that particular object, we are able to access that particular methods here. Now, we will be taking with this particular respective of M is an object. With the help of that, I am calling that particular method. M dot, it will be taking with that particular M3. Then it will be taking with M dot, it will be taking with M2 here. So in this way, we can call it. When you're calling the methods, you can call the methods in any order. It doesn't make any problem. In which order you are calling the methods or accessing the methods. In which order you are calling the methods, accessing the methods. In that particular order, it will be executing with that particular methods. Now we can see here, if I'm executing this program, so this time it's need to give a result of M1 executed, M3 executed, M2 executed. So previously we written the same program. There is no result, but now we are taking with the help of object. Now we are taking with the help of that particular object. According to that particular object, we need to be get go with. According to that particular object, with the help of that object, we are able to access with methods here. So this is how you have to go with in mentioning that it will be taking with the three concepts of taking with the taking with class and then method and then object. So now the conclusion is to become an expertise. First, you have to clear about the concept. Then you have to clear about syntax here. Okay. Now, while working this particular respective of class, the use of the class is to write a program, the use of the method to perform action, the use of object to access methods here. This is how we need to be get go with in mentioning that it will be taking with, it will be having this particular one here. So in this way, you need to be get go with in executing this particular program. For TSX, in my system, I have been already installed. In the same way, you guys also need to install with the command. This is what I clearly mentioned. npm install -g tsx. So you will open the VS Code. In that particular VS Code, in the prompt, you will be typing npm install -g tsx. Then you will be able to go with directly executing that particular program without doing that particular compilation. So now see the whole understanding what exactly you have been done here. Okay. Right. First, I got in a class, and then I got in a method, and then I got in a object. If I'm taking with this particular respective class, mention that to write a program. To write a program. Then you will be taking with the method, mention that to perform an action. To perform an action. Then you will be taking with object, that is to access methods. So this is what your simple understanding, first understanding of these three concepts. So going forward, it can be any program, it will be able to utilize these three concepts. Either while working this particular TypeScript or working with the Java also, you will be able to continue these particular steps here. And then you will be taking with this particular next step. Continued of these two, you need to go with that particular next concept. Continued of these things, you need to continue with the next concept. That is what you will be taking with the new concept, data types and variables. All the online students also, please write with the new heading, mention the data types and variables. Write with the new heading, data types and variables. And write the small description to represent or define the data. To represent, or we can say that define the data. For the purpose of representing with the data and then taking with defining with the data. To represent with the data or defining the data. Okay. And then right. And then make a note of this particular description up to this particular highlighted one. You're already written with the heading, data types and variables. You can mention that particular description and that particular three types here. All the online students also, please make a note of it. Just continue up to that particular highlighted one. Then guys, all the online students up to that particular highlighted one. Okay, right. So let's understand what exactly mean by these particular things and how exactly we need to get go with these concepts here. I mean, whenever we are doing the programming, so while doing with the programming, there is a concept of or requirement of need to be get represent with the data. So while working with the programming, there is a concept of or requirement of representing with the data. That means if you want to write any program, you want to write some logic, you require some data. But while defining that particular data, you have to mention data types. While working with the programming, it is mandatory that we have to go with data types and variables here. While working with the programming, we have to take with the help of data types and variables. But for now, which you will understand that particular data types here. After that, you will be taking with variables here. Now, that particular data types, you will mention that three types here. If I just go with that particular data types, we mention data types. First one, primitive data types. Primitive data types. Then we can say that non-primitive. We can say that non-primitive, or we can mention that reference. We can consider that non-primitive data type, or it will be taking with reference data type, or it will be mentioned object data type, and then it will be taking with this particular special data type. So if I'm taking with that particular data types, we can say that if I just go with that particular data type, we can consider that three types: primitive data type, non-primitive data type, special data type. Primitive data type. Here we can go with number. That means while working Java programming or other programming, we got a concept of integer or float or decimal. These data types are there. To avoid all that confusion, to avoid all that particular confusion, there is no concept of. To avoid all that particular confusion in these TypeScript, we got the data type as a number. It can be decimal, it can be integer, any kind of thing it will be taking with that number. Okay. After that, it will be taking with next option, which it will be taking with that particular respective of number. Okay. And then it will be considering the string. We got in a number, we got in a string, it will be taking with boolean, which it will be taking with the null, and then it will be taking with undefined. So this is what it will mention that particular the five data types, number and then string and then boolean and taking with the null and then undefined. In the same way, it will be taking with non-primitive. That it will be mentioning that array and then it will be taking with tuple, which it will be taking with the array and then it will be taking with that particular respective of tuple. Then it will be taking with special data type. So special data type it will be taking with any. So any is considered as a special data type. That means as part of that particular program requirement, whatever that particular data type we want to use it, we can utilize that particular required data type. In that, first will be taking with primitive data type, then you will be taking with non-primitive data type, then you will go with special data type. So primitive data type, you will be taking with the number and then string, taking with the boolean and then null undefined. So that particular non-primitive, you can consider that array and then tuple. That particular special data type, it will be taking with any. So this is how we need to get go with in utilizing these particular respective data types. Just as an example, let's see how we can define it. If I go with this particular program, so how exactly we can define it? It will be taking with the example data types dot ts. It will be taking with the example that particular data type ts. Let's see here. So first we are saying that it will be taking with data types. In that, first it will be mentioned. It will be taking with, first it will be mentioning that it will be taking primitive data type. So that primitive data type considering that number and then string and then taking with boolean and then taking with undefined. So this is what it will be mentioned. Now let's see here how exactly we can define it. So I'm just taking with let that particular number, then it will be taking with that particular string, and then it will be taking with boolean, and then taking with the null and undefined. These are all just data type. That means you want to define this particular integer data, you will take the data type is number. You want to go with the string, then it will be taking with the data type is string. Okay. So for the confirmation, we need to be get print with the statement that it will be mentioning that console.log. It will be taking with console.log. First, we will be taking with that particular number. Okay. After that, it will be taking with that particular string. And then it will be taking with that particular boolean. And then it will be taking with that particular null. And then it will be taking with this particular undefined. Just if I'm executing, you will be able to see those statement will executed. Let's see here. TSX. We are not compiling the program. Directly we are executing the program. TSX mentioning that taking with example underscore data type dot ts. So we'll be taking with these steps here. So all that particular data will be defined it here. So this will be taking with primitive data type. In a similar way, we need to be get go with non-primitive data type and which will be taking with special data type. So that I will be discussing it. That I'll take tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll go with this particular data type and we'll be taking with variables. So how we got an A, this particular one of it will be taking with this particular respective of data types here. In a similar way, we got an a variables also. So that particular variables we need to understand. In the tomorrow session, you will get more clear picture related to these particular data types and variables here. Let's see that how exactly we can use these particular concepts here. So slowly, day to day, you need to be get more comfortable in utilizing these statements here. So just you can take with the practice of this, whatever the concepts we are discussing related to that particular concept, you need to try for some more examples, then you will be getting with more clear picture. Okay, so data types and variables, tomorrow we'll be understanding in more detail. Just today, we have been started it. So please look into that particular practice. You can utilize offline lab or online lab, but make sure that you will be taking with that particular proper practice here. Okay, clear everyone? Right. So online students having the questions, you guys can carry on your questions.
Welcome to Anything Music World. Bluetooth เสนอ Filter.
Right. Online students having the questions, you can carry on.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Boolean type means, can you explain once?
True and false. Boolean means we're going forward when you're writing with the condition. If the condition is true, it has to return the result as a true. In case of the condition is false, it has to return as a false. True and false. I mean, the Boolean will return the result as a true or false. Okay. Yeah.
One more thing. In VS Code, can't I create a folder directly inside the workspace? Why we need to create the folder manually in workspace and then after that adding the adding the folder to workspace?
We can create from VS Code only, but it will make a confusion. That is the reason to understand in the proper way I came up that approach. That's it. Because going forward, it will be adding lot of folders, right? So that is the reason I followed that approach here.
No, okay, that's okay. Actually, in my system, it by default it's coming in workspace in VS Code. When I do that manually, it's duplicated again.
Oh, if already workspace is there, you doesn't require it. Just in the same workspace only, we'll be creating the folder. That folder will be accessing in that particular VS Code.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
do we need to execute TCS command from command prompt?
You can execute, you can install from the VS terminal.
Okay,
From the
sir.
VS Code terminal, you can install it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
do we not have any main method over here? Like in Java, we will be using public static void main for execution, right?
Uh, for the here, there is no concept of the main method.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. All right, guys.
Hello, hello, sir. One second.
Hmm.
Uh,
Carry on.
can you just open that class object creation? I mean, you're creating the object creation and method call outside the class or inside the class?
Outside the class only. In Java, I will go with the inside of the class, but while
Oh,
working particular TypeScript, I will be taking with the outside of the class only.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this class execution starts from this method, from this object creation.
Yes.
How the flow works?
Now, what is the method you are calling? M1. In
And
this M1 method, in this class, then it will refer this class. In this class, it will see that M1 method available. Then it will execute. Then what is the next method you are calling? M3. In the same class, it will cross-check that M3 method available. Then it will execute. So whatever the methods you are
okay,
in
okay.
that particular methods, it will execute.
So execution directly starts from object creation.
Right. So in general, execution will start from class only. But in case of object is not created, it will start executing, it will not give any result. So then we
Okay.
created the object. So because of that, your object, I mean, now your execution will start from this object. Based on the methods, how you are calling it in that particular order, it will execute it. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right. All right, guys. Okay then. So please take care about the practice. We'll meet you tomorrow then. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.